Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. You already know what to do. Hit that subscribe button, like the video. Also, shout out to all Asian dilemmas. And let me just start off by saying these are going to be all of our future wives. Now, just take a look at this. You are not alone. I mean, it's not funny. Funny, not funny. They say they're unfit for marriage, but that's not really true because they're getting married, especially if they're in shape and they still look decent. Yeah, they're getting married. Matter of fact, you're gonna be the one that's gonna marry her. Let's see what's going on.
Do you know what's trending on Chinese social media right now?
And y'all having kids.
A wave of ex-nightclub girls, ex-models, ex-actresses, women who spent years in the entertainment industry, are now posting angry videos saying, "Men don't want to date us anymore." They say they've changed their lives, that they're now ready for a serious relationship. But then they're shocked when guys just don't want them. And I'm thinking, did they really believe they could just walk away from that lifestyle and their past would be erased? Let me tell you why men are avoiding these types of relationships, and trust me, the reason is very simple.
Oh.
Remember that video? It shows a mommy bringing a group of beautiful women into a private KTV room, then waiting outside while the main guy inside is sitting with girls on both sides. And
Sitting up there like Scarface. Got 3 over here, and I got 3 over here. Yeah. I'm the man. I got a cigarette in my man.
his subordinates are sitting there looking completely dead inside. You could just look at the guy's face and know what's going on. And it made me think. There are thousands of toxic friends out there, and half of them are inside that room. If you want to succeed in business today, you can't avoid KTV, drinking, clients pulling your hair while you're sweating in a suit.
They have to be fun. They have to let out all the fun before they get serious with you. So, thank these men for warming her up.
And the next day you still have to like the post of that girl who flirted with you just for tips. Now tell me, what kind of man wants to go home and keep living in that environment, even after work? These women, used to a life of luxury, they've seen too much. Surrounded by heirs, rich businessmen, people who spend money like it's water, driving Porsches and going home in BMWs. Do you really think they can just go back to a simple life? And worse, at first it feels great. She chose you out of all the others. You feel like you won a prize, like you stole her attention from all the rich guys. But that only feeds your ego, and only for a little while. Soon comes the anxiety. You don't know how many guys she's held hands with.
She ain't yours, it's just your turn. You'll never be the only one. And not only that, you think you're so special. Now, that's like me. If I walk up in there, I'm gonna look better than most of the men in there. The only thing is I don't have the money.
How many WeChat contacts she added in just one night? How many gifts? How much intimacy was exchanged? And here's the worst part. Even if she tries to be loyal to you, that usually lasts 6 months at best. After that, the spark's gone. She'll slowly distance herself, lose interest, and you'll realize you're lonelier than when you were single. Then comes the breakdown. The guy loses weight, money, and self-esteem. And many still lie to themselves, saying, "Oh, she's just working odd hours, she's like any other girl." She's not. If you think like that, sorry, but your worldview is already twisted. So for those women now complaining online saying, "Men don't want to be with me," here's the truth no one wants to say out loud. Men don't want to because they don't need to carry a burden that isn't theirs.
That's why they rent. They'll rent the burden.
And for you, bro, if you've already fallen into that trap and don't know what to do, go watch my first video or come talk to me. But don't kid yourself. Dating a nightclub girl is like digging your own grave,
Oh.
with both hands and a smile on your face.
He cooked.
能娶吗？
I didn't understand why I couldn't connect with anyone after I left the club. For a long time, I kept asking myself, why does it feel like I can't truly love someone? I left the nightlife behind, changed my life, tried to move on, but something was always holding me back. It was like something inside me had been shut off, or worse, replaced with something else. I tried, I swear I did. But it felt like my heart had become a locked room with the key thrown away.
Damn.
Only after a conversation with an old friend, someone who knew me before I ever stepped into that world, did I start to understand what had happened to me. He said to me, without sugarcoating, "You spent too much time in a place where everything revolved around money, where the value of a word, a smile, even a touch, had a price."
She monetized herself. That's what all these girls are doing. Monetization is the future of relationships. Sad to say.
And it was like a light switched on inside me. But not a beautiful, cinematic kind of light. It was raw, almost cruel, exposing what I didn't want to see. The truth is, back then, the environment shaped how I saw the world. The club was a place where everything sparkled, lights, laughter, expensive champagne, but underneath, it was also dark. People lived off appearances. I learned how to smile without meaning it.
Yeah, because see, when people go into this lifestyle, they're basically actors. So their job is to provide you a fantasy for some money. And their lives are completely different outside of this environment. So basically, this is not who this person is, let alone her birth name. Half of the people that come and see them, they usually never tell them their birth name unless they get real close or become a regular. So you have that too.
Laugh without joy, call someone baby or love when I didn't even know their name. Because that's what made money. And money was everything. It wasn't just survival, it was power. It was status. It was the feeling that, for a few hours, you were the one running the game. In there, genuine emotions became a luxury no one could afford. I'd look at men and see nothing but the size of their bank account. And they'd look at me and see what they wanted to buy for the night. It was easy, fast, and increasingly empty. An emptiness I masked with high heels, flawless makeup, and a laugh that echoed across the room. But at the end of the night, when the lights went out and the silence crept in, I felt the weight. I just didn't admit it. You get used to it. You think you won't, but you do. You get used to the expensive dinners.
It's just like the yacht girls. Remember the video I did on the yacht girls? It's the same thing. They're exposed to all these millionaires. They're used to the luxury dinners, steak, caviar, and everything. But what do you do when that dies out? Because you probably didn't build a life outside of it to where you could afford it on your own. So you're forever looking for a man to provide this when you're done with this lifestyle, and you probably won't get it because you've been passed around so much. It's like game over for you.
The gifts. The likes on the photos you post. And most of all, to the idea that your body can be currency. That your beauty is a tool. That your time has a price per hour. And when you realize it, you can no longer tell what's real and what's a performance. You become the product they consume, and worse, you start consuming yourself. But no one prepares you for the day you try to be normal again. No one warns you that, once you're out, the outside world feels strange, almost hostile. After I left, I tried working in an office. I tried dating. I tried being serious. But everything felt slow, uninteresting, almost ridiculous. A guy would take me for coffee and I'd think, really? That's it? Another would try to have a deep conversation, full of ideas, and all I could do was calculate his income, whether he was worth my time.
So basically at this point, these women in the nightlife pretty much just look at guys as ATM machines. Like, she's not even caring about what the person's about. All she cares about what's in his bank account. So that's all she's seeing. So besides money, money talks, bullshit walks. That's pretty much how their mindset is. Like, if they're not having money thrown at them, they don't want nothing to do with the person. And that's a sad reality.
It was automatic. A coldness I didn't even know I'd learned. The truth is, my sense of value was completely distorted. Things that should have touched me, a kind gesture, a bit of affection, someone making an effort, now felt small. Insignificant. Because in the club, with the right smile and a nice dress, you could make more in one night than some people made in a month. And that corrupts you, even if you swear it doesn't. It corrupts because it teaches you to measure people in numbers, bills, tips. And when you try to go back, you realize you forgot how to feel without calculating. The worst part is, on the outside, I pretended everything was fine. I smiled in photos, posted motivational quotes, said I was living my best life. But inside, I was scared. Scared that I might never truly love again. Scared that I'd never be loved without having to give something in return. Scared I'd never trust again, not others, not even myself. I kept wondering, is this who I've become? Is there anything left of who I used to be? My friend looked me in the eye and said, you need to relearn. Not just how to love, but how to let yourself be loved. Without selling. Without proving anything. Just be. That day, I cried. Cried like I hadn't in years. Because I finally understood that the girl who walked into that club wasn't the same woman who walked out. The club gave me things, money, independence, a certain thrill, but it took away so much more. It took my lightness. It took my ability to look someone in the eyes without suspicion. It took pieces of me I didn't even know I could lose. And in a way, I had to lose all that to start finding myself again. I'm not here to judge anyone. Everyone has their reasons, their pain, their choices. Some enter that world out of necessity, others out of curiosity, and some stay because they like it. And that's okay. But I want to say to anyone who's left that life and feels this emptiness, it's not madness. It's not drama. It's real. It's the price we pay for living in a world where everything is a transaction. And yes, you can rebuild. But it's not easy. It takes time. It takes effort. And above all, it takes courage to look in the mirror and say, I deserve love, even if I don't give anything in return. If you've made it this far, maybe you're going through something similar. Maybe you're trying to find yourself again after a time when you felt lost. And I just want to tell you one thing, you're not alone. No matter how broken you think you are, there are still enough pieces left to rebuild yourself. And yes, you can start over. It won't be like before, it never is. But it can be different. It can be real. And that alone is more than the nightlife ever gave me.
Wow. So those of you that are out there and they're doing this, well, there's different ways of doing this in America because the nightlife is shit in America. Let's just be real because there's just a lot of limits on what you could do. There's a little bit more, well, I wouldn't say freedom in other countries as far as nightlife. Let's just say you could get away with more and more access to millionaires. Anyway, let's see what this gentleman has to say.
Car show models, flight attendants, women who work in nightclubs. I wouldn't date them even if my life depended on it,
Whoa.
no matter how pretty they are. The guy who said this, he's actually the kind of man many women would love in the dating market. He's 1.77 m tall, born in 1992, a local from Chongqing. His family runs their own business, and he earns a stable annual income of around 300,000 yuan. And he said this, a woman's looks are important, sure, but if I'm looking for a wife, there's no way I'd go for someone who works in clubs, car shows, or as a flight attendant.
Now, this is the first video I came across that mentioned car shows, because if you go to international auto shows like me, I'm a car enthusiast, so I do see these women there, and usually when you see women at car shows, they're not going to have no booger wolves there, let alone they're not going to have Michelin refrigerator type built women there either. So these women usually have tiny waist and they have the looks and everything. They just have the gorgeous model look. But the thing is, how much longer can they keep that up? Like a lot of these people in this industry, like these people are saying, are lifeless. There's nothing there when they go home. They're just so empty, like a dark soul. It's sad.
At first, I thought, isn't that just plain job discrimination? But after hearing his full reasoning, I kind of get where he's coming from. He said that women in those environments are constantly surrounded by rich second-generation guys.
True.
They spend money like water, driving Porsches used to fast cash. Coming back to a normal life and mindset after that, nearly impossible. I started to think, okay, but you can't judge a whole group of people like that.
Nope.
But then he said something that really made sense to me. I'm just an average guy. Why should I carry that kind of burden? In jobs like that, you never know how many guys she's held hands with, or how many intimate moments she's had. You have no idea how many new guys she adds on social media each day. Conversations with coworkers are all like, so and so went home with that guy last night. We went partying at this club yesterday. So I asked myself, wait, how does this guy even know all that? Then he told me back when he was younger and immature, he only cared about looks.
Oh boy.
He got into a bad relationship. After they broke up, friends started telling him stories, and he realized he'd been cheated on multiple times without even knowing. Then he said, man, I'm just a regular person. My parents spent most of their life savings to help me buy a house. And I'm supposed to use all that to marry a woman like that? Dude, tell me, what would I even gain from that? With my background, wouldn't it be way better to find a decent, down-to-earth girl?
Yeah, but where do you find those girls at? Sounds like he has a Western approach about it, but yeah, the sad thing is people are still going by looks. They're not going by what's up here. And that's why people end up in bad situations when they're dealing with the significant other, or the so-called they thought they met the love of their life when they met the tragedy of their life. Anyway, this is Kylie Vale. I thought this was something I put out there. Hope you enjoyed my scenario of it in my way. Whatever. Enjoyed the singing. I'll see you in the next video. This is Kylie Vale. Good night.